Out front, that's number 11, Sydney Dillman. Over to number 9, Katie Primo. Check that. That's Brooke Fromont. There's the rebound by number 12, Kea Vandermeer. Fresh clock now for St. Albert. Here's the Skyhawks. Drives down the lane, and that's Cameron DeClerc, the 5'9" guard, the grade 10 guard. So early on, once again, welcome to ICU Video's Procast coverage of the Ross Shepherd Totem Hoop Classic in its 25th year. Glad you're along with us. Also want to welcome our viewers from Saskatchewan who are tuning in via YouTube. There's a nice stop and pop by number 10, Ella Wiebe of the Bears. Once again, Bears in white, Skyhawks in blue. The women's championship game from the palatial Ross Shep T-Bird Gym.
It's a good word.
Absolutely. Here we go now. Back to the live action. There's the foul. Cameron DeClerc tried to go down the baseline. Steve, take us through these two teams and how they got to this championship game.
Well, in talking to the coaches for both teams, what has been their staple is they have some older players that have maintained a leadership role with the team to keep them steady when things have gotten tight. But they also have some younger players, too, on both sides that have been eager and anxious to prove themselves. This is the first tournament of the year, so it's going to be a lot of excitement, but these two teams have played steady along with that excitement to start the school year.
Possession arrow changes over to the Skyhawks cross court here. Down the baseline, stops, won't fall. That's number 12, Kea Vandermeer. And the Bears will bring it back up. Far side now, that's number 3. Maya Thakor out to the top. That's 5, Mira Witt. Down below to D'Souza Martin. She'll try from downtown and hits. That's big three-pointer, and you're no stranger to three-pointers yourself, Steve.
Everything that everybody's been talking about in this tournament is that Aden Bowman can shoot it. They have some really strong inside play, and they play smart. So it's going to be interesting to see how this plays out because that's a lot of what you'll hear about St. Albert, too.
Kylie Kornak, number 8 for the Skyhawks. Will shoot 2 following the foul. It's number 22, Jordan Hessel checking in. Number 11, Mimi Sigay checks back out. 7:02 to go here early in the first quarter. The Aden Bowman Bears from Saskatoon lead 7-4. And that's number 8, Kornak, cleaning up her second of 2. Bears now, number 7, Haley Poyer. The offense runs through her. She's the point guard. Here's Witt now, number 5. Her sister Sona, number 6, also in the lineup. And that pass from number 3, Thakor, travels out. Number 7, Cameron DeClerc will bring it up the floor for the Skyhawks. Down to number 12, Vandermeer. Bring it up past the three-point line, and it's a push on number 10, Ella Wiebe. And number 8, Kornak, will inbound for St. Albert.
What you notice about these teams so far is they're pretty deliberate in what they do on offense. There's not a lot of rushing. There's not a lot of frantic movement. They're pretty purposeful, and you can tell that they have a pretty specific attack of what they want to go after. So it's going to be interesting to see how this plays out over 4 quarters.
And it's been a long tournament, too. I mean, things started on Thursday. Oh, and a nice rejection. Number 7, Cameron DeClerc, the grade 10 guard, with the rejection on number 7, Haley Poyer, who will now inbound.
Cameron played on the U15 provincial team for Alberta this past summer and was a key contributor on that squad, so it's cool to see her off to a good start.
Nice little inbound down low to number 10, Ella Wiebe. And the Bears lead by 4. Now the Skyhawks will come back, and there's the pass down low. Battle for the ball between number 10, Ella Wiebe, and number 12, Kea Vandermeer. St. Albert with possession.
Good play.
10 on the clock.
That was
from
really
3 and hits. That is number 9, Brooke Fromont. with a nice touch from downtown.
You always got to be careful with the inbounds play. If you have a good shooter taking it out, there's an awfully good chance that that shooter's going to be getting a screen to come out and hit something. So real nice job from St. Albert drawing that up.
Good ball movement here by the Bears. That's Witt, number 5. Mira Witt. Be talking about her sister Sona. There's a nice baseline move, and it won't go for D'Souza Martins, and she is fouled.
She's committed to play for the University of Saskatchewan next year, and Lisa Tomaitis, who is also our senior women's national team head coach. So that kind of speaks to what kind of level of player she is, if that's what awaits her at the next level.
And in talking with John Diedrich, the head coach of the St. Albert Skyhawks before the game, he said that obviously the team, the Bears are focused. The offense runs through 15. We've seen her shoot from the outside already. She's worked down low. She is just a fantastic all-around basketball player.
You see her right in the mix there to get her hand on a defensive play and then running the floor. So far, she's living up to everything everybody said about her this tournament.
Haley Poyer now had the fast break but decided to slow things down. And there's a good hustle play by D'Souza Martins. Off the glass won't go. And then a good rebound by Jordan Hessel. And the Skyhawks will break out. Both teams playing a little cautious right now, Steve.
You can kind of tell that they had their initial push with excitement and ready to go, and now they're settling into it and trying to find a rhythm again. So, and you can tell it maybe a little bit of nerves, and plus also too, like you mentioned, this is the last game of a long weekend of play, so they might be a little tired too. But it's a final; you got to get excited.
That's right. The adrenaline kicks in eventually. Number 7, Haley Poyer, guilty of taking that extra step. The Aden Bowman Bears of Saskatoon lead 10-8 over the St. Albert Skyhawks. Number 8, Kylie Kornak, checks out for the Skyhawks. In comes number 12, Kaya Vandermeer, who will inbound to number 7, DeClerc, point guard for the Skyhawks. Of course, this is the Totem Hoop Classic. This is the preseason holiday tradition in Edmonton. 25 years, the silver anniversary, and actually really truly celebrated with the renovations to this gym, and we'll be talking about that all night, because why wouldn't you? And what a great play by the Skyhawks for 3, and it's
big
number
shot from
7, Cameron DeClerc, and number 11, Mimi Segay. Hope I'm pronouncing that right, but what a hustle play.
You're getting it close.
To bring that ball back in. Bears now. See them trailing for the first time now. Skyhawks with a 1-point lead, 11-10. With 3:45 to go here in the opening quarter on ICU Video's Procast, and it won't go.
What I like about what St. Albert's doing on defense is they're bringing help early. You'll hear a lot of coaches talk about meeting players outside of the paint when they put a drive together, and St. Albert's been pretty consistent so far of meeting the girls on Aden Bowman outside of the key and making them either shoot a tough shot or have to give the ball up.
Brooke Fromont, that attempt from beyond the arc. Goes out in a timeout call. But let's talk about the gym here, Steve. I mean, if we can get a shot, there's our ICU Video Procast crew getting us a little bit of a shot of the newly renovated gym. Steve, tell us about this is truly transformed. This is no longer truly a high school gym. Tell us a little bit about it.
Well, it's been a 2-year project for Shep. They've been going through massive renovations, and there was always with the promise of unveiling a pretty spectacular gym.
A great wide shot from Dave Foley, our camera guy extraordinaire. And I mean, really, last year I had the pleasure of calling both championship games, and we were in the smaller gym, and everyone said, wait till next year. And boy, this facility has not disappointed.
Well, you'd be hard-pressed to find a better gym anywhere at a high school level. And a teammate of mine from Shep, we were here yesterday for the opening ceremonies, and he said there were a couple college teams that we played against in university that didn't have this kind of gym. So you're talking about an elite facility regardless of probably wherever you are in Canada, North America. I'd press anywhere. This is really a special place.
And it's truly state-of-the-art in terms of the scoreboard. We're able to do a lot of we have a greater flexibility here, both in terms of a technical aspect with ICU Video, our Procast, and we certainly want to welcome everyone for joining us on YouTube here in the 25th anniversary of the Totem Hoop Classic here at Ross Shepherd. It's been a holiday tradition for 25 years.
In talking to Dave Youngs, the head coach for the Rochette men's team, he shared a little bit of how the Totem Hoop came to be that we'll have to talk about later. It's an interesting little story.
Sounds great, and we look forward to that. Back to the live action. There's D'Souza Martins with the tough work down low, and she is fouled.
She's tough.
I was going to say number 4. Looks like number 14 of the Skyhawks looks guilty, and that will shoot to D'Souza Martins will shoot to grade 12. The forward center are really truly playing out of the 5. 6'1", as you mentioned. She is committed to the University of Saskatchewan and
by all
close
accounts
to home. And sorry, I was going to say, I'm sure the U of S is did a little celebrating that night.
Well, from all accounts, she turned down multiple offers from Division I schools in the States. So for her to stay home is exciting, but I think it also speaks to the level of basketball that she believes is happening at the U of S, and they proved. I mean, they're
what a great little play by Mimi Segay there, backing D'Souza Martins down low. And the Skyhawks with the 2-point lead now. Poyer now over to the shooting guard, Witt, number 5. They'll move things around. That's Maya Thakor. And there's the 3 with the wild miss, but there's the opportunity knocks for number 5, Mira Witt, and she cashes in. And we've got a tie game here, 2.5 minutes here in the 2.5 minutes to go women's championship game of the Totem Hoop Classic. Of course, as we mentioned, want to welcome all of our viewers and our viewers from Saskatoon. Of course, the Aden Bowman Bears, head coach Marcy Helseth. We had a quick conversation before the game, and she said, you know what, we don't want to go home empty-handed for that long bus ride tonight. So these Bears, after knocking off the host team, are on a mission.
Nice
and there's
pass.
Beautiful pass down low to D'Souza Martins. That's number 11, Sydney Dillman.
She held her position. Really, you can see a lot of the little stuff that she does is pretty high level. Holding her position, hands going to meet the ball. She's tough.
One thing I was going to say, and there's the rebound by D'Souza Martins.
Nice pass.
Great outlet pass to number 3, Thakor. Once again, impressed by the ball movement of the Bears. There's a good pick by D'Souza Martins. Thakor decides not to shoot. Over to the corner for number 11, Sydney Dillman. And Dillman not only with the great pass, just one possession to go, she cashes in from from three-point land. And now these Bears have opened up a 5-point lead, 18-13. Skyhawks now need to answer back. Biggest lead of the game for the Bears now here at 5. Early in the contest, but late in the quarter, and it won't go. And there's nice rebound and the bucket by Kylie Kornak.
It's interesting to see St. Albert. They've got a little tentative, and they're hanging out around the three-point line, where Aden Bowman's getting a little more action going towards the rim and then kicking out to shooters or dumping it inside.
And there's the three-point attempt, and it won't go. There's D'Souza Martins, and I think the one thing you got to say, not only is the talent there, but she's also, I mean, you can see she's one of the hardest workers on the floor.
She's going after every ball. She's setting tough screens. If the ball's up on the rim, she's probably, if not getting it, she's getting a hand on it. So, yeah, she's not just laying back on, I'm a very good player. She's playing awfully hard out there.
Bears inbound now, baseline, in the paint, good work, but that's number 10, Ella Weeb. She gets hacked in the act by number 7, Cameron DeClerc. Grade 10 guard for the Skyhawks, who trail in this one 18-15. Of course, later on tonight, we'll have the men's championship game from T-Bird Gym as the host Ross Shepherd Thunderbirds take on Lillian Osborne. Should be a great one. Of course, it always comes down to Shep and Harry Ainley, and in talking with the Shep staff before, earlier tonight, this preseason tournament is a good measuring stick for the rest of the season, isn't it?
It is. You get to see where people are at to start, the initial excitement of starting off a basketball season, but then also where you need to grow and where you have to improve, because, I mean, for these guys, they got a lot of basketball to play, and it's a great measuring stick to see where you're at and where you can go.
And there's a three-point attempt for the Bears, and right now Aden Bowman from beyond the arc. That's Maya Thakor, and literally everyone's cashing in from three-point land. So the Skyhawks have got to address that in terms of the outside shooting of the Bears.
That's twice now that's happened where they've had a little bit of a fumble on the handoff and gone out of bounds in that exact same spot. Huh, slippery ball.
You've had miscommunication there a little bit too. There's the good screen by D'Souza Martins. Shot clock.
Oh, tough. Boy, she's tough on the glass.
And there we go. And the score after the first quarter, the Aden Bowman Bears of Saskatoon lead the St. Albert Skyhawks 22-15 here on ICU Video's Procast coverage of the 25th annual Totem Hoop Classic from the Ross Shepherd Thunderbird Gym. Glad you're along with us, Kevin Donnan, for ICU Video, along with Steve Sir, our analyst. And it's been a fantastic tournament. I think we can certainly congratulate the crew here at Shep, the staff, faculty, and students for putting on such a great tournament, Steve.
It's an interesting thing to see, because for me, the last time I played at Totem Hoop was in 2000, and how this has continued to grow and mature on already what was a fantastic tournament. It's really special to see all the effort that goes into making this the great tournament that it is.
Just about to start the second quarter here with the Aden Bowman Bears up 22-15 here in the women's championship game. There's a look at the Bears bench, and what's Marcy Helseth telling her squad right now with a 7-point lead? And in terms of shooting and in terms of the outside shot, there's another good replay of the Bears feeding it down low to D'Souza Martins. But the story of the first quarter, Steve, is the outside shooting of Aden Bowman.
Well, I think what Aden Bowman is doing really well is they're bringing someone to the high post when they have the ball on the 45, and then they're getting somebody on that opposite corner, opposite wing. So they're dragging that defender when they're sitting in that zone, and they do a really good job of skipping it in time so the shooter can get it right on the money, right into the shot. I think for St. Albert, you probably have to maybe try some man, or you got to get somebody closing out a little bit quicker to take away that shooting, because you're worried about Ashley getting the ball at the high post for Aden Bowman. But they have some players that can shoot, so you got to pick what you're going to give up.
Now, if you're John Diedrich, the head coach of St. Albert, the one thing you're concerned about, and when we talk about the Bears, is not only is it the outside shooting, but it's everyone on the roster has the ability to really shoot, from beyond the arc and from the three-point line. So in terms of defending that, what are you, as a coach, what are you going to do now?
I think you have to keep enforcing and reminding the players that when the ball's in the air, your feet have to be moving. You can't watch the ball go, and then when they get the catch, then you're running at, because if you have a good shooter, that's too late. They got the ball up. So if you're St. Albert, if you're going to play in the zone, you got to make sure that ball gets skipped. You're sprinting with your hands up to make it a difficult shot, and you're just playing with max effort.
Haley Poyer inbounds to start the second quarter. Aden Bowman Bears up 22-15 here in the opening seconds of the second quarter here at the 25th annual Totem Hoop Classic. Baseline now. Here's the Bears. Down low. Good rebound there by number 22, Jordan Hessel of the Skyhawks. That's Cameron DeClerc now. They're going to need her to get hot. She drives down low to Hessel, and it won't go. And possession will go to the Bears.
I thought that was a good look. Cameron got right into the paint. She dumped it off. Aden Bowman got back into the play quick enough to challenge the shot. Those good plays on both sides of the ball from those teams.
And we have Sona Witt, number 6, now on for the Bears. Mira and Sona, I'm going to guess twin sisters. They have to be.
I think you're onto something.
I think I might be onto something there. There we go. Or they're very close in age. And number 3, Maya Thakor.
There she is. It's awfully interesting when you see a player of that caliber in Ashley. She has her accolades. She has big commitment to a big university program. And oftentimes you'll see with players, they'll say, well, geez, I want, how'd she get lucky? And I wonder what she does. She's playing really hard.
I was going to say, like, she wants to take that 6.5-hour bus ride. She doesn't want that to be any longer than it has to be tonight. And right now, as we mentioned, Ashley D'Souza Martins laying it all out on the line. And right now, the Aden Bowman Bears lead by 9 over the Skyhawks. So Skyhawks need to get on a run here in the second quarter.
They got to keep being aggressive. When they were there, that's what you need to do. Get into the paint, draw somebody, and get the shot up. Now you just hopefully got to knock it down. But it's got to be more towards the rim and less around the three-point line for St. Albert. maybe taking a bit of a note from Aden Bowman.
Number 12, Kaya Vandermeer, loses the handle on the ball. Long outlet to the corner. Back out. Across the floor now.
Yeah.
And the travel called on number 7, Haley Poyer. Number 15, Nicole Dea will check in for the Skyhawks. Number 12, Kaya Vandermeer will take a rest on the Skyhawk bench with 8.5 to go here in the second. And as we mentioned, that pass along that side.
I had a magnet on that side.
I
that
was
ball's
going to
just
say.
zipping over to that sideline.
Absolutely. So Bears now with the possession with a 9-point lead. 8:20 to go here in the second quarter.
The thing that Aden Bowman's doing well right now.
There's a great block by number 7, Cameron DeClerc. She's on the break.
Nice.
Beautiful pass over, and the Skyhawks, Brooke Fromont, perhaps giving St. Albert the lift they need.
A little more of that if you're St. Albert. You gotta push the tempo. You gotta push the issue. Half court, it's going their way.
Martins, and tough work, tough defense down low by number 22, Jordan Hessel. Great defense by Hessel, number 22, and now the Skyhawks with some momentum.
Get it.
There's number 9, and it won't go. And it's number 9, Brooke Fromont, who couldn't connect on the three-pointer. And the Bears will inbound with possession. Number 10, Ella Weeb. Well, now look, good screen by D'Souza Martin. She looks back. There's Sona Witt, and there's the travel.
Happy feet.
One little tiny extra step, and the Skyhawks will take over possession here. You bet.
Teeny weeny one.
That's right.
Yeah.
Here we go now. Back to the live action. Skyhawks now. Fromont, number 9. She'll take a look. Kick it over to the near side, and that won't go. That's number 14. Nicole Dea just fresh into the game as she tries from the three-point line. Won't go. There's Weeb, number 10. Once again, good ball movement by the Aden Bowman Bears. Down low, good steal by number 7. That's Kornak.
She's been really active so far.
Well, she's been active at both ends, driving into the lane, and at the same time, great defense there by Kornak, that's Cameron DeClerc, number 7. Down low to Hessel. She tries to back up to D'Souza Martins, nothing doing there.
Very nice.
And there's a nice near layup there for the Skyhawks. And now D'Souza Martins from the 5 will bring the ball all the way up the floor. Nice little lay-in, and it won't go. And she collects her own rebound. So what a great hustle play. She kicks it over to number 6, Sona Witt. Down to Weeb, down low to number 4. That's Kameneski, fresh into the game, the grade 11 guard for the Bears. And the Bears back up by 9, 26-17 with 6 minutes to go here in the first half of the women's championship game. And good hustle play by Maya Thakor on defense for the Bears, and she'll drive over to D'Souza Martins down low, and she's just going to clean that up all day. Nice pass by Thakor.
If there are young players watching on the stream right now, watch how hard number 15 for Aden Bowman runs. She runs block to block and puts herself in great position for rebounds, for catches, for finishes. Yeah, she's impressive.
Number 9, Brooke Fromont, and Skyhawks, not a lot of luck either. No. They don't have a lot of ball luck tonight in this first half. They've had a few that have hit the iron, and there's down low to D'Souza Martins.
Did you hear what the coach said?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
John Diedrich, it's one of those things, and the timeout called here. Check to see who actually. Oh, just a change, just a player change, no timeout. It's number 7, Cameron DeClerc. Over to Brooke Fromont. She'll stop and shoot, and it won't go. And she's fouled. She'll go to the line to shoot 2. So Skyhawks now down by 11. They could use these two from Brooke Fromont and then get going and get some momentum with 5 minutes to go here in the opening half.
Hasn't gone the way that I think St. Albert would hope in these last couple minutes, but you want to go into halftime with some positive stuff. You want to go with a little bit of momentum, so hopefully they can put together a few possessions and make it tougher on Aden Bowman.
And Fromont misses her too. There's a good rebound by Segay. Will not go, and it's collected by D'Souza Martins, who will bring the ball up the floor. And she's truly going baseline to baseline now. Playing a little point guard there, sets the screen, and now she sets up back down low. Number 5, Mira Witt, over to Kameneski. Here's number 4, Hannah Kameneski with the left hand. And there's the near putback by D'Souza Martins, but she's fouled in the act of shooting, and she'll shoot 2 for the Aden Bowman Bears. And here's that hard work you're talking about there, Steve.
It's just not, it's no secret as to why good players are good. They play hard. They're in the right spots because they put themselves in a position to do so. Like, she's playing her butt off, and I know we keep talking about her, but she keeps making us talk about her. So
that's right.
It's been impressive.
Here we take a look at the Aden Bowman Bears bench. Head coach Marcy Helseth, along with Nicole Poyer and Megan Ekstrand, are the coaches for the Bears. And obviously they, as we mentioned, this is not only the 25th anniversary of this amazing tournament, this is it's an important tournament for preseason basketball. Obviously, Aden Bowman came all the way from Saskatoon to get ready, and it's for Aden Bowman, this would be a great trip for them in terms of building that team, in terms of bonding and that sort of thing. And here we see some more replays of D'Souza Martins. But for the Bears, in a preseason tournament like this, it's good to get out on the road, isn't it, with your teammates?
Yeah, you're going to get to spend those days together. I'm assuming they were here to play, Thursday, Friday, Saturday. You got those 3 nights. You got the drive. You got everything going on. So you get to know your teammates. Plus, also, too, the benefit of playing some faces you probably aren't familiar with. There's, I'm sure in Saskatoon they've seen some of the same girls,
for
time
6
and
years.
time.
Sure, yeah.
So coming out here and playing a St. Albert team where you have some provincial level players on St. Albert, you're playing against a good team with a good coach. So you're going to get some new faces and a new challenge. And I know for high school players, it's always exciting when you get to play some new faces.
You bet. And as we were talking about, Aden Bowman got here with victories over the host team, Ross Shep. The St. Albert Skyhawks, they're taking a look at their bench. They defeated the Strathcona Lords in the other semifinal. So in the other division, well, the championship side of the ledger. And here come the Bears all set.
Have they taken Ashley off yet? D'Souza Martins?
She has not left the floor at all, and she has covered literally every centimeter of it too as well, in terms of both rebounding, both defensively and offensively, and she's shown a nice touch from outside as well. 12-point lead now for the Aden Bowman Bears, 4.5 to go. Here's Fromont, number 9, looking to get some momentum.
That's a good push.
Tries to feed the ball down low, and she will shoot 2. So if you're the Skyhawks, John Diedrich, obviously the head coach during that timeout, he's looking to get some energy going.
Yeah, you can kind of see when she took off like crazy with that outlet that clearly the message is the pace guy has to be picked up. So good start. They hopefully for the next 4.5 minutes they can maintain that.
Fromont hits her first of 2 and make it 2 in a row. So Fromont with a couple. They'll cut that lead to 10.
There you go.
5, Mira Witt. Good hustle play by Fromont, number 9. And she wins possession, so that'll be number 12, Kaya Vandermeer, who's back in the ball game. Vandermeer doing a lot of work down low. She's matched up against D'Souza Martins in the paint. There's Fromont now. Nice move.
Very nice.
And a nice little runner that just will not go. But Fromont, the ability to draw fouls, and that's obviously something that John Diedrich covered.
I like how aggressive she came out. I mean, they've played a minute, and she's gotten to the free throw line twice. She had a tie up for the ball, and yeah, so far so good. She's really come out and pushed the envelope.
Great shot from our ICU video crew member Dave Foley. part of our procast coverage here of the Totem Hoop Classic, and so glad you're along with us, and that one won't go. Oh, and there's a good play by Vandermeer, who nearly cashes in. She tries off the glass, but there's D'Souza Martins with the tough defensive rebound, and she'll bring it up the floor with just under 4 minutes to go and a 9-point lead for Aden Bowman of Saskatoon. She goes across the floor and a little runner down the baseline, and that's number 7, Haley Poyer. Nice little runner by the point guard of the Bears, absolutely. Back out to Vandermeer now. 3-point attempt, and it just won't fall. Good rebound by number 12, Sloan Harriet of the Aden Bowman Bears. And there's another good hustle play by number 9, Brooke Fromont, who's really been kind of that emotional leader for the Skyhawks. She's really been hustling and trying to get her squad back into this one as they're down by 11 with 3:20 to go. Witt kicks it back out, and the travel called on number 13, Renee Saulnier. So Marcy Halseth going into her bench a little bit, and a wise move, you got to say, in a championship game, when you've got a double-digit lead, you can stretch the bench a little bit.
I think you got to trust your depth a little bit, especially this early in the season. You got to see what the girls are going to give you, when they're going to give it to you, and you got to show them that trust. So coach has done a really nice job with managing the rotations, and
there's a good steal by Brooke Fromont.
Yeah, Brooke has given them a nice lift.
It's number 7, DeClerc. Back out to Fromont. Now Fromont will drive over to Sige. She's going to stop and set up, but won't go. Grabs her own rebound, kicks it back out to DeClerc. Moves it over. It's number 8, Cornack. And here's the drive by DeClerc, and it won't go. Rebound by D'Souza Martins, and she'll bring it up the floor with 2:20 to go. And there's a nice little lay-in that will not fall for Haley Poyer. Non-shooting foul, and the Bears will retain possession. And a timeout called here with 2 minutes and 20 seconds to go in the opening half. Kevin Donnan along with you on ICU Video's Procast coverage of the Women's Championship game. Let's take a look at this replay, Steve.
That was a nice skip from Ashley. Like we said, kind of made something out of nothing. She was stuck, put a little zip on the ball, and then a really nice read to get to the pull-up for the mid-range, even with a hand coming from behind. That's a tough shot, and Aden Bowman has been making a few of those plays on the kind of the in-between possessions. So if St. Albert can start to add that a little bit, they're right there. They just need a couple shots to drop that haven't dropped yet.
I was going to say a little bit of luck wouldn't hurt either. Here's a shot of John Diedrich, the head coach of the St. Albert Skyhawks, who was just talking with his squad, and now Marcy Halseth, who's kneeling in among the Bears there, having a chat here with this timeout with 2:20 to go here from the Thunderbird Gym on the 25th edition of the Totem Hoop Classic. This is Edmonton's birthplace of basketball, the Thunderbird Gym, and where else would you rather be than here on YouTube watching the Totem Hoop Classic? Later this evening, we'll have the Ross Shepherd Thunderbirds will host Lillian Osborne in the men's final, but we've still got a lot of basketball to go here. 2:20 to go in the second quarter. The Aden Bowman Bears, the home team from Saskatoon, in white, St. Albert Skyhawks in blue. Aden Bowman leads by 11. Aden Bowman with 4 team fouls, St. Albert with just the 1.
You kind of would like to see, St. Albert's down 11. There's 2.5 minutes. They got to make something happen before they go into the break. Them only having 1 foul kind of says a little bit they're not playing aggressive enough. So I think they need to get out there and bother Aden Bowman just a touch more, not be dirty. But there's a good one.
There's a good one right there, and there's an offensive foul.
Stand in there.
You bet. Here we go, right here. And great position, good defense by number 11, Mimi Segay. So that's a big lift for the Skyhawks right there, a big defensive play. And here's DeClerc, number 7. And back to Segay now. Nice move along the baseline, and she draws a foul. So good work by Segay there down along the baseline. Nearly got the 6-footer to go, and she'll shoot 2. Take a look at this one, Steve.
I think they ran a real nice play out of a horn set on that one, where they had 2 high. They set a little on-ball screen. The screener received a flare screen, and then they dove the screener down to the block. So I got to imagine that's probably what they wanted. They got it down there. They got to the free throw line and paid off.
And Segay hits 1 of 2 and cuts the lead to 10. 2 minutes to go here in the second quarter.
Travel.
And there's a travel called on number 10, Ella Weeb. So the Skyhawks now trying to seize the momentum here as we close out the first half of the women's championship game.
There's a little bit of that. There's that horns look into a flare. Oh, that's.
And there's a
bit silly.
A blocking foul there on St. Albert.
That was, yeah.
There's your inner coach coming out. John Diedrich made sure the Stripes knew that. He thought that one was a little light, but you never know. Here's D'Souza Martins driving the paint, and it won't go, but she will shoot 2. And as you mentioned, is it a case of trying to get a little more aggressive on number 15 of the Bears, and you get into that sort of, to borrow the legendary term, hack-a-shack, but do you get into that where, you want to make her pay every time she gets into the paint?
No, you know what? I think what the girls with St. Albert need to do is they're putting themselves in a tough spot because they're reaching for the ball. I think they need to try and keep the body in front of her. Hands are out, so at least when she's going to shoot, she's having to shoot over high hands, shoot over her limbs, as opposed to dragging it through contact, because the refs have to call that stuff. So if St. Albert can keep their hands high and move their feet, they have a much better chance, I think. Make them finish over. Nice
little drive by Fromont that won't go. Here's D'Souza Martins now. Bring the ball all the way up the floor. She'll kick it back out to Weeb, number 10. She'll try from the three-point line. Won't go. D'Souza Martins with the big rebound, and she cleans it up with the bucket.
She's got to have 10 rebounds by now.
Absolutely. Easily 10 for sure. And there's a nice little lay-in that won't go for Fromont, and the Skyhawks with not a ton of luck tonight, and that pass cut off by D'Souza Martins. Long outlet to Weeb. She spots Witt open down, and a nice block by DeClerc, number 7, here in the final minute. 40 seconds to go. DeClerc kicks it over to Vandermeer. Won't fall. Number 6, Sona Witt now, and D'Souza Martins content to slow things down and go into a bit of half-court offense here. 12 on the shot clock. 20 seconds to go. But a 12-second differential and the foul. Check that, the travel called on Maya Thakor. So 20 seconds to go in the half. So Skyhawks have the clock here. Fromont now over to Vandermeer. Good ball movement by the Skyhawks. The drive down the lane, and it won't go.
Not a lot of bounces for them this half.
The ball has not dropped their way. Seconds to go, and that will bring the first half to a close. The Aden Bowman Bears lead 34-21 here in the championship game of the Ross Shepherd High School Totem Hoop Classic, the 25th anniversary edition, and we'll be back in just a few moments with second half action. Once again, Kevin Donnan along with Steve Surfer, ICU Video's Procast coverage of the 25th annual Totem Hoop Classic here from the Palatial Thunderbird Gym, and we'll be back in just a few moments with second half action. Stay with us. And welcome back to the 2017 Women's Championship game of the Ross Shepherd Thunderbird Totem Hoop Classic. I'm Kevin Don for ICU Video along with Steve Sir, and we are pleased to bring you this ProCast coverage. And Steve, take us through some of these highlights of a very action-packed first half, but a dominant first half for the Aden Bowman Bears, who lead this championship game 34-21 over the St. Albert Skyhawks. Steve, take us through some of these highlights.
Well, you're seeing with some of these clips, we'll call that a pass, but you're seeing a lot of action go towards the rim. I mean, obviously the story of the first half was D'Souza Martins. She was awfully good. Right place, right times, but she was playing hard enough that she kept putting herself in those spots. And the interesting thing to see what comes after that is a player that's that active and has that big of an impact on the game, how much it opens it up for the other players. For St. Albert, you're seeing in some of these clips what they were able to get going when things were moving is when they got some transition going. They got some opportunities in the open court to push the ball towards the rim. I think for St. Albert in the second half, they got to get a little bit more of that, and then this was kind of a reoccurring theme in the first half was D'Souza Martins getting to the rim, getting to the foul line, and commanding a lot of attention from the defense.
And the other thing that we discovered was Aden Bowman was really balanced. Like from one possession to the other, they were either shooting from outside or they were trying to feed the ball down low. We've seen highlights through our and big kudos to our crew for putting together these highlights. Alex, our director and switcher, and the key for Aden Bowman was just the variety. They were able to possession and really take it to St. Albert in terms of shooting from the outside or feeding it down low. If you're John Diedrich, the head coach of the Skyhawks, you had a hard time defending that team.
Yeah, I'm sure the first thing they talked about was D'Souza Martins, and you can see why if you've been watching any of the game, but you can see also, too, that in basketball, you're not getting here if you just have one good player. So what she does really well, along with rebounding, playing with energy, and finishing around the basket, is she is willing to share the ball, and she's unselfish and does a very good job of finding the open player. So if you're John Diedrich at halftime, you have to figure out a way to address of making sure that more effort goes towards making D'Souza Martins' life tough. And then when that ball moves out of her hands and gets to those other players, you have to close out with hands high, probably make them put it on the ground and bring help early so that you're not giving up a lot of clean looks.
There is the head coach of the St. Albert Skyhawks, John Diedrich, and he said, we spoke to him before the game, and he said D'Souza Martins was their number one concern. There she is, number 15. The Aden Bowman Bears from Saskatoon, Saskatchewan are the home team in white. They took down the Ross Shepherd Thunderbirds in the semifinal, the host team. So Aden Bowman now the home team for this one, and there's a little fan from maybe we'll see
future T-Bird.
We'll see a future T-Bird. There we go. And we've been talking about it a little bit, but the glimmer off the floor from this, like from a technical perspective, this place is so beautiful and so brand new. This is the newly renovated Thunderbird gym, and it's just an absolute marvel. You really have to get down here and see it. And this begins the third quarter, and now St. Albert going to try and seize the momentum, down 13. Here's Fromont, number 9. She's going to be a big part of this comeback if the Skyhawks can do it. Fromont now, number 9, takes a look. Down to Sigay, nice down pass. Low. Beautiful pass, but it just won't fall. The Skyhawks have had absolutely horrendous luck around the rim. Here's D'Souza Martins now. Baseline, here's Witt, and she hits number 5. Mira Witt with the 12-footer down the baseline. Here's the long outlet, the drive, and the foul, number 3. Maya Thakor. So both teams coming out with some pretty good energy, Steve.
Well, what we just saw on that last shot for Aden Bowman is one of the things that St. Albert has to make sure that they're in control of. They were a little bit late picking up who they had in the half court, and they gave up a wide open shot. That's one of those ones where you probably got to get back and hey, we have the ball in front of us. We have to find who we're guarding, and then we have to make them shoot over high hands, because if you're going to give up wide open looks, it's going to be a tough second half. But so far, pretty good start. lots of energy from both sides, and I'm hoping for a comeback because this has been a pretty fun game so far.
Absolutely. Here's number 7, Cameron DeClerc on the turnover for the Bears, and they'll turn it right back over with that errant pass intended for number 12, Kaya Vandermeer. Now the Bears up-tempo here to start things off. That's the core, number 3. She's been busy all night playing solid defense, taking shots from the outside. Back over to the core here on the near side. 9 on the shot clock. She'll kick it down low. Beautiful pass. Number 7, Haley Poyer, the point guard from the Bears, and sort of the unsung hero of this Bears team. She runs the offense, and D'Souza Martins with the hustle and the work down low. So quite the partnership there. And there's a good drive. Beautiful play by number 8, Kylie Cornack.
You can see with both teams, at least in the start of this half, that they've been a little bit more, on the St. Albert side especially, a little bit more purposeful in their ball movement, letting the play develop. Aden Bowman's been really impressive because they just haven't been in a rush. They'll get down and take a shot with 4 seconds on the shot clock. So both teams so far, good start.
The core tries to go down. There's the outlet pass to Fromont. She'll try and lay it in and won't go. The core, number 3 with the rebound. She'll kick it out near side, and number 7, Cameron DeClerc. Got to give it the Skyhawks credit. They have come out of their room here in the second half, and they've come out with a lot of energy because they know down 13 they've got to get back into this thing in a hurry.
They're still getting those tough bounces. They've had 2 or 3 shots even just in a young second half where it's just rimming out. So hoping for a little more love on that rim in the second half.
Poyer looking for D'Souza Martins, that little bit of a miscommunication, and the Skyhawks will take possession here of the Bears now, and a little bit of a press going on now. And there's the good work by Segay, and it won't go. Good rebound, but there's Ella Weeb. She'll bring it out. And now the Skyhawks, both teams. And the Skyhawks back off the press now. And down low to D'Souza Martins. Won't go. Grabs her own rebound. Takes a look. Now it goes cross court near side. It won't fall. Oh, what a play. What a play by Haley Poyer.
There's been a little bit more of that from Aden Bowman tonight. They're pursuing the ball and doing a little bit less of hoping the ball comes to them.
Haley Poyer gets rejected down in the paint.
It's been interesting to see.
Vandermeer now, great pass down the wing there, really. Kicks it back out. There's the three-point shot, number 14 of the Skyhawks. That will not fall. 6:40 to go here in the third quarter. So glad you're along with us. Kevin Donnan with Steve Sir here on ICU Video's Procast coverage of the 25th annual Ross Shepherd Totem Hoop Classic basketball tournament. This is the women's championship game. Aden Bowman Bears from Saskatoon. Nice. In white, the home team. And there's a beautiful layup. And she gathers the foul as well. Let's take a look at this one.
That was a big-time move.
That was a great play. Take us through this one, Steve.
Well, you can see she brings it out with that good look at the rim, puts it down 1-2, and then goes right into it. Doesn't shy away from contact, goes right to the rim, and basically says, somebody stop me, I'm going to put it through, and hoop in the harm.
D'Souza Martins now widens the lead to 16 now, the biggest lead of the game. But this Skyhawk team, no quit in this St. Albert squad. They knew they were in tough against the Bears, who took down the Thunderbirds in the semifinal and have looked a very dangerous team. But boy, that Skyhawk team cannot buy a shot tonight from the outside.
I'm sure they really like the gym. I'm not sure how they feel about the rims.
I was going to say, they're probably going to ask for, maybe a replacement or something.
Yeah, you guys scrap the gym. We need new rims
we need to, new backboards, new rims.
Yeah, take that stuff down.
Yeah, absolutely. Or bring back the old ones or something.
Yeah, get those guys out.
Yeah, maybe these aren't worn in enough. And there's an errant pass from Vandermeer that travels out of bounds, and the core, number 3, will check out. In comes number 13, Renee Saulnier, grade 10 guard for Aden Bowman. Of course, Want to thank everyone for joining us on YouTube and our friends from Saskatchewan.
I don't know about that one either.
You're not sure about that one?
No,
A
because
foul called on.
you
We'll check
want
that.
we had an illegal screen in the first half from St. Albert that I didn't really buy. That same type of thing. They're not moving, they're just making contact. So I think, not to go into it too far, but you like to see people going after to set a screen, get somebody open by headhunting. You don't want them to just screen air, you want them to screen a player. So I don't know. I think if you're either coach, you're going to accept those fouls.
Fromont now, baseline.
There we go.
There we go. Maybe that'll turn the fortunes around here as the lead cut now to 14, 41-27. Here the Aden Bowman Bears of Saskatoon. Nice move by Mirawit. Won't fall. And now brought out by the Skyhawks and DeClerc. Misses with that pass. 5:01 to go here in the third quarter. Aden Bowman Bears of Saskatoon up by 14.
DeClerc's done a great job pushing the ball. There's just been a couple passes that have just been like a little off the mark, but it's hard to falter on it because she's been consistently getting that ball up the floor, pushing the tempo, and you know who.
There we go with that. Yeah, and there she goes. And like you say, fearless in the paint. I mean,
She's
and
so
that's
active.
something, and I was going to say, that's something that is not easy to teach.
No,
in terms of that fearlessness in the paint.
Nose for the ball. Like, it's just, you can just see it with her. That ball goes up, she's chasing the ball. She's not hoping it comes in her area. Her feet are moving, her hands are moving. She's moving players out of the way. Yeah, she's as good as build.
And one of the more telling things that John Diedrich said, there's a layup that won't go. That was for the Skyhawks. And one thing that we overheard from over here on the other side of the gym is John Diedrich said early, about midway through the first quarter, she just wants the ball more than you. And he was talking about Ashley D'Souza Martins. And, so far it's been a real struggle for the Skyhawks because number 15 is just winning the battle at both ends of the floor.
You're completely right. I think saying that she has a nose for the ball doesn't do it justice of how much she's just relentlessly pursuing the ball, because a lot of that comes down to her determination. She's going after the ball. Like a nose for the ball kind of implies that, she's kind of winds up in the right spot. But
there's a lot of work to get there. Yeah,
she's on the left, ball's on the right, she's going to get it. And that's something you can't teach. That's something that's just, hey, that's in me, I'm going to go get that ball.
And there's the pass off the hands of the Skyhawks, so possession will change. 16-point lead here once again. Biggest lead of the contest. Here's Poyer, number 7. Talk about active, the point guard. She's been traveling everywhere. D'Souza Martins now.
Ooh.
Across the floor, and a good play by number 7, DeClerc, to break up that pass, but Bears will retain possession with 4:34 to go. Just over 4. 6 on the shot clock now. Bears got to have a shot.
I need something tough here.
D'Souza Martins, and fresh clock, but gathered in by number 22, Jordan Hessel, with the tough rebound. Here's Fromont, number 9. Hit an important bucket earlier in this quarter, but she's got to get hot if the Skyhawks have a chance. Ooh. What a great pass down low to Hessel. And nice. A great play down the baseline, and an even better pass.
She did a great job keeping her eye on the passer, though, because I don't think there's a few players on the other team that wouldn't expect that to be thrown.
Hopefully we'll get a chance to take a look at that replay, because that was just beautiful basketball right there. Speaking of beautiful basketball, there's Kaya Vandermeer with the steal. And here's DeClerc, number 7. Skyhawks now. And there's a drive down the lane, tried to kick it back out. And possession will go to the Bears, who lead this one by 14. There's Poyer entering the frame now. She'll inbound to number 11, Sydney Dillman, who's had a hot hand from beyond the arc. Sydney just 5'6", a grade 12 guard, and can shoot the lights out from the three-point line.
There you go.
And there's a great steal by DeClerc. And she'll run with the lay-in, and There's Vandermeer with a good hustle play. Back out to Fromont for three, and it just won't go. And there's battle for the ball with Segay and D'Souza Martins. So, boy, D'Souza Martins, not only is the work ethic there and the talent there, but I'll tell you, she's going to need an ice bag or two on the bus ride home.
Yeah, I think they're going to have to either ask somebody here or make a stop to get a little ice, but she'll have earned it too.
You bet.
She's been on the floor as much or more than anybody, so definitely is a great thing for your team when your best player is setting the tone like that.
Good ball movement here by the Bears near three-pointer by number 11, Sydney Dillman. And possession will remain with Aden Bowman. 20 on the shot clock. 2.5 to go in the quarter. Kevin Donnan with ICU Video. And great to have along Steve, sir. Steve, you're a former Shep alumnus. You played at San Diego State with Northern Arizona. Mm-hmm. You have literally seen every corner of the world with a basketball. You're back here in Edmonton. Tell us what you're up to now in terms of the sport of basketball and helping it grow in Edmonton.
I've been working with Basketball Alberta and been involved with their basketball programming and things that we have going on around the city, which has been a great learning experience and a lot of fun. Doing quite a bit of skill instruction and shooting clinics in and around the Edmonton area in Alberta, which is something that I've always enjoyed because that's what I've done well as a player. And then to keep the playing stuff going, I've been shifting from 5-on-5 to 3x3, which has been named an Olympic sport in 2020. So
that is right. You bet.
I play with a team out of Saskatoon, the team Saskatoon, and right now we're one of the top-ranked teams in the world, and hopefully going to make that push towards 2020.
Now, when Steve says that he shoots well, okay, I just want to tell our viewers here on our procast that Steve is a very humble guy because you own the NCAA Division I record in terms of minimum 300 makes. You have the highest shooting percentage from the three-point line. So First of all, that's a fantastic record to have. Congratulations.
Thank you.
And, it's an amazing record, really, when you consider some of the names that are on that list with you.
I recently had the list sent to me of who else is on it. And
and there's a big three-pointer by number 7, Cameron DeClerc.
There you go,
big
Cameron.
play by the Skyhawks. Keep going. We got to let us know about the list.
And you saw names like, Ray Allen and Kyle Korver and guys like that who are on it. So it's pretty cool, especially now that it stood for 10 years. You're hoping it'll stand for a little bit more, and then
no kidding.
Interesting to see who moves in and around that list.
Well, as long as you're at or near the top, man, I'll tell you, you set a record like that, I think I might put that one on my tombstone. But down low here for the Skyhawks, the Bears get possession, but no, congratulations on a phenomenal record. And thank you so much for your work with Basketball Alberta in terms of getting this sport and growing this sport throughout Alberta, because there's a lot of great basketball, not only here at Ross Shep, but in every corner of the province. And there's the extra little walk by number 5, Mira Witt. And as, like you say, you work for Basketball Alberta, and there's a lot of tradition and a lot of great high school basketball throughout the province.
Absolutely. There's some great young players that are coming up through the provincial team program, through the other clubs as well. There's some fantastic coaching going on at the youth levels and the high school levels. For me and my group, one of the reasons that we did well was because we were fortunate to have great coaches. And I think one of the things that's been our focus at Basketball Alberta is coaching education and continuing to build that, because we know that the players are always the ones that reap the benefits. So we're hoping that then that continues and the efforts continue to be made, and we're excited for all the young players that are coming up and the opportunities that are going to be at their fingertips.
Final minute here in the third quarter. Just over 40 seconds. There's a bit of a push there. Possession will change. Aden Bowman Bears from Saskatoon in white lead by 11, 43-32 here in the women's championship game of the 2017 Totem Hoop Classic from Ross Shepherd High School in Edmonton. Glad you're along with us here on this ICU Video Procast. The Aden Bowman Bears came into this game along with St. Albert, undefeated on their sides of the bracket. But right now, the Bears have been dominant throughout this championship game. Skyhawks, though, have a big fourth quarter coming up, and number 9, Brooke Fromont, is going to be a big part of that. She'll kick it out to the top, over to DeClerc, number 7. 3 seconds left in the quarter.
You know, St. Albert is a player. They're only down 11. You're a player or two away from being right in this thing. So for them, if they can get 1 or 2 of those tough looks to drop, they just had those bounce around shots that just have not sat down. So if they can get 2 right here, you go in down 9 points in the fourth, and you haven't played the way that you hoped. There you go.
There's number 7, Cameron DeClerc. She hits her first of 2 with under 1 second to go here. Just final little tick of the clock here, and DeClerc can't get it to go, and that'll bring the third quarter to an end. The score at the end of the third quarter, the Aden Bowman Bears lead 43-33 over the St. Albert Skyhawks. And Steve, take us through both coaches here. If you are John Diedrich here, as we take a look at the Skyhawk bench, what are you telling your players? You're down by 10 with 10 minutes to go in the championship game. What are you telling your team?
I think you're probably telling them we've had our most success playing out of transition. We've had success when we haven't gotten rattled. If there's something early, then hey, let's settle in, let's run something, let's get a good look. You got to keep trusting your players that shots are going to drop. I think from a defensive standpoint, you got to make a big effort on D'Souza Martins. Like, hey, you have to have this quarter, you got to keep her off the glass. You have to keep her off the glass if we're going to have a shot at winning this thing. When she gets into the paint, have her finish over high hands, don't reach. So if I'm St. Albert, keep pushing, stay patient, box out, box out, box out. If I'm Aden Bowman, I want more of the same. You know, be deliberate. If you don't get anything quick, then let's keep doing what we're doing. Have the ball change sides, swing it. If we need something tough, hey, let's go to Ashley, who's been making it happen.
And we've been watching these highlights here, catching that, and St. Albert both starting. You've noticed a little bit of a change here with the Skyhawks. They're starting to feed the ball a little bit down low to number 22, Jordan Hessel. Had some success against D'Souza Martins of Aden Bowman, and even the Skyhawks have gotten some decent outside shooting in that third quarter. So a much better quarter for the Skyhawks. But with this going into this final quarter, they have a tall order. Now, if you're Aden Bowman and you're Marcy Helseth, what are you telling your players?
More of the same. You need, hey, if it's not broke, I mean, the St. Albert had a better quarter, but we're still up 10. St. Albert has 33 points, so we're getting it done on defense. We haven't been hacking a lot. I think they had 3 fouls at the end of that quarter. So let's keep trusting what we're doing. Ball changing sides. When the ball gets up on the rim, let's get on the glass. Let's get it. They're obviously not afraid to have D'Souza Martins push the ball if she gets the rebound. So, more of the same. I don't think they played poorly. I just think St. Albert had a better quarter. So hopefully we see the best quarter in this one, and I think it should be a good finish.
We could be set up for a real classic finish. And here's D'Souza Martins, decides to kick it back out to Ella Wiebe. Wiebe will try and feed it through, but it won't go. Here's DeClerc now, number 7, feeds to Fromont, and just couldn't gather that pass, and she knew it too. It was right there. Here's Ella Wiebe now, who will bring things into Haley Poyer, who's going to, and the Bears with that 10-point lead, content to play a little half-court basketball right now. Skyhawks, though, need to gain the momentum. Down 10 here, 43-33 in the championship game. There's Wiebe for 2, won't fall, and there's D'Souza Martins.
They did a great job on
the near
that, though.
Side.
They shut down that lane. D'Souza Martins had the exact same play in the third quarter where she took it all the way to the rim and got fouled. That one, they closed it off. They sprinted to the shooter. They had to shoot over a high hand. They missed it. So you're making the right plays. Next thing is you just have to make sure you secure that rebound.
Here's D'Souza Martins on the outside. And that's over to Poyer, and it won't go. But there's D'Souza Martins battles for the rebound off her hand, and the Skyhawks will take over possession here. 8:48 to go. Women's championship game here. The ICU video Procast, Kevin Donnan, along with Steve Sir. So pleased to bring you the action from the women's championship game, this pre-holiday tradition here in Edmonton. The Totem Hoop Classic, and a nice bucket by number 11, Mimi Segay, the grade 10 forward, the 6-footer from St. Albert. And the lead is down to 8 for the Bears. So Skyhawks looking to seize the momentum, and there's the core. Won't go. There's D'Souza Martins with the tough shot. And the rebound by Segay, battling it out, and gets tangled up with the center of the Bears. And the call. Possession will go to the Skyhawks.
She mixes it up.
We'll get the call here. That was on number 4, Hannah Kameneski. 17 on the, fresh clock for the Skyhawks here with 8:07 to go. Down by 8. Women's championship game, this preseason basketball tournament, so important for these teams as they get set for the long basketball season ahead. Get prepped through the Christmas season, and then it's down to business right away in January. There's D'Souza Martins down low, and it won't fall. Big rebound by DeClerc. And she'll push the ball to the outside. There's Fromont. Open three, and it won't go. And here's Ella Weeb. Straight down. Feeds it over to, and the rejection, but the foul on Cameron DeClerc. That's on Haley Poyer.
That's a smart play by Cameron, though, because either you give up 2 in an easy transition play where you're a little late back on defense. She made a good play on the ball, nothing dirty, but now at least you got to earn it at the free throw line and shoot 2 as opposed to just get a simple layup and then you're coming back the other way.
First one falls for Haley Poyer, who's been very busy at the 1. She's been kind of rotating between point guard and shooting guard, splitting that responsibility with Maya Thakor. They really kind of rotate that 1-2 depending on the look.
Yeah.
And both of them comfortable in terms of leading the offense. And, we talk about number 15 a lot, Ashley D'Souza Martins, but both Thakor and number 7, Haley Poyer, have really played well for the Aden Bowman Bears here from Saskatoon.
And isn't that what you want with your program, is you have interchangeable players that can handle the ball, push the pace. If someone doesn't have it, you have somebody else getting up the floor and initiating offense. That's been really impressive with Aden Bowman. They're not a get a rebound, look for a specific player. They've had 4 or 5 players get the ball up and initiate something.
That was a shot clock violation against St. Albert. Timeout called here by Aden Bowman. And Steve, you got a story for us. We were talking about the development of this tournament, and let's take a look at a couple of rebounds first before we get to the story of the history of this tournament. There's a nice little runner by number 7, Haley Poyer. We talked about that versatility. There's a nice little spin move down low by D'Souza Martins.
You're seeing, again, the great thing that Aden Bowman does is if there's someone open, they're getting the ball. Like they're not trapped in only seeing one side of the floor, only looking for one player. Even though D'Souza Martins has had a really strong final, if someone's open, they're getting the ball. And the expectation clearly is you make a play out of that. So for Aden Bowman, again, if you want to close out these 7 minutes, keep sticking with what works. If you're St. Albert, because they're doing a lot of the same stuff too. I mean, they just haven't had the same amount of shots drop, I think, the way that they would like as Aden Bowman has. But they're moving it. They're both unselfish teams, and they both teams seem to genuinely enjoy playing with each other. So from that end of it, it's been a really enjoyable final.
10-point lead here for Aden Bowman. So glad you're along with us. The Aden Bowman Bears of Saskatoon lead by 10 here in the women's championship game of the 2017 Totem Hoop Classic. Back to live action now. Aden Bowman Bears with possession following that shot clock violation. Here's the core now. Kicks it over to the far side. Down low to D'Souza Martins. Nice. She'll kick it back out to Poyer. It won't go. Good rebound by DeClerc, number 7. Good pass there by DeClerc, and number 8, Kylie Kornak. She's been quiet in the second half, but she draws the foul with 6:37 to go. So a good breakout there by the Skyhawks. Kornak will shoot two, the grade 11 guard. Trying to cut this lead to single digits, won't go. Rebound gathered by D'Souza Martins, and she'll bring it up the floor. Big number 15 for the Bears. The catalyst here, there's the open look by number 5, Mira Witt, won't go. And here's number 9, Brooke Fromont. She'll drive the ball up the floor over to number 7, DeClerc. Kicks it back over to Fromont, number 9. Looking for a shot. She'll try and drive the lane. Try something along the baseline. Won't go. Rebound and possession to the Bears. Number 7, Haley Poyer, battling it out with number 8, Kylie Kornak, down low. So Aden Bowman, the home team in white from Saskatoon, with the 10-point lead here in the championship game. 6 minutes to go in the game. Now, there's Ella Weeb, and Ella Weeb just got the step and just drove the lane and cashed in. She won't get an easier basket tonight.
No, that's really a nice example of just taking what the defense gives you.
DeClerc now, number 7.
Nice play.
There's Fromont now. Three-pointer won't go. Rebound gathered by DeClerc. She'll kick it back out to Fromont. Try the three again, and it won't go. Skyhawks with that bad luck continues for St. Albert. They probably had at least 3 or 4 threes pop out, and a number of baskets that certainly would have cut this lead. Now, Bears now content to work the clock. 2 on the clock. There's drive down the lane. Fresh clock, but the Skyhawks will take a great lead pass by Fromont, and DeClerc cashes in.
I think Brooke Fromont has, I don't know if anybody else has been noticing, but she has the best reactions to her teammates doing well. She throws both her hands up in the air and gets
We're going to look for that now.
It's the best reaction. She's played really well, but she's been awesome to watch with her reactions for other teammates succeeding.
You know, I caught it out of the corner of my eye on that last one, but
it's been consistent from the jump. She's been doing that.
We got to check this out now. Here we go. Skyhawks with the rebound. It's number 8, Kornak.
Watch, there she goes.
There we go. There we go. A little enthusiasm never hurt anybody, and here we go.
Awesome.
Watch the work here by
tough finish.
Great finish by number 8, Kylie Kornak, and once again going straight down the lane. She wasn't going to be denied, and lead now is cut to 7. So I'll tell you, with 4.5 to go, don't move a muscle. We are at the Totem Hoop Classic, and we could be in for a real classic finish here. Here's Sona Witt, number 6, baseline. Down to D'Souza, and a big change of possession here. Segay, as the ball goes off, D'Souza Martin, so a big defensive play here along this near side. So now
here comes that horns action they ran in the first half, where a little on-ball screen to a flare. They can
Fromont.
Get some of this action out of that.
Skyhawks know they have to chip away. Good ball movement here. Here's DeClerc down. Nice. Little runner that goes with the left hand. And yeah, now you got me watching. Now you got me seeing Brooke Fromont. She had a little bit of a skip on that one.
Yeah, the Brooke watch on the celebration. There you go.
We need a Brooke cam. And a big change in possession. And you know what? This is what you got to love about basketball. It is the greatest sport in the world in terms of momentum. Yep. And it's all with St. Albert now. Down 5, 47-42. 3:40 to go. Women's championship game, Totem Hoop Classic here at Ross Shepherd. The ICU Video Procast, and we've got a classic. Here's Fromont from 3 and hits. 2-point game now. Skyhawks and the Aden Bowman Bears wisely call a timeout. Let's take a look at this on the ICU Procast replay. And now the Skyhawks, like you mentioned, in the span of about 45 seconds, all of a sudden this game has completely changed.
Well, the funny thing is I think we had a break at 7, and the game was done. And like right here, this is what was happening. You could see the St. Albert girls dragging a little bit, but you got to give them credit. Like they're pushing the ball up the wings. They've kept pushing the tempo, attacking the rim aggressively. If you're John Diedrich, if you're any of these girls, you're saying, guys, keep shooting the same shots. They're going to start falling at some point, hopefully today. But you're seeing right here, great pass, got to the open spot, hit a tough shot, and that's after Brooke missed 2 or 3. So catching it right in rhythm, not thinking about what happened, just thinking about shooting the next one.
And I think another thing that we have to talk about is, the fitness level of St. Albert. They've really come out in this fourth quarter, and they've started to really press the ball up the floor, like in terms of running the ball. And, we've seen longer passes. They've been really running the floor. And that's something we haven't seen up until this fourth quarter. So, big tribute or big kudos to this coaching staff of the St. Albert Skyhawks, because the fitness level of these Skyhawks is something to be impressed with. And boy, don't move a muscle. Live action, 3:20 to go, 2-point game. Aden Bowman Bears of Saskatoon in white. Down low.
Good. They're closing out the shooting lane. They're making it tough get the open looks.
And you got to go to the. Go to 15, Ashley D'Souza Martins. You got to go to that player, and she'll shoot 2. And let's take a look at the replay.
They made it tough. I mean, the Aden Bowman made the right read. They found the player on the baseline. They swung it around. You're shooting 2 free throws, but it wasn't like St. Albert was giving you anything easy on that. So both teams they're fighting. That's one of the most impressive things about this is St. Albert could have quit, and they just kept fighting.
D'Souza Martins makes both of her foul shots. It's a 4-point lead. 3 minutes to go. Where else would you rather be than at the Palatial Thunderbird Gym? The Skyhawks down 4. Here's DeClerc. And the call is against the Skyhawks. I think that's against number 11, I believe, on the blocking foul. 4 points, so that's a big play here with under 3 minutes to go. Here's Poyer now, number 7. Here on the near side to Dillman. He's had the hot hand from outside. She takes a pretty good shot. There's Weeb, number 10. Back down to Dillman, kicks it back out, and a block. Big play. Scramble in the paint, number 7, Haley Poyer. Kind of throws that up.
Made something out of nothing.
You bet. 6-point game now. Aden Bowman Bears. And there's the pass and the over and back. And the Bears now with a 6-point lead, 2:18 to go. And the timeout called. Wise timeout here by John Diedrich. Things were getting a little bit scrambled, but a wise timeout to take here.
I think so. You had such a good push to get back in this game. It's really hard to maintain that emotion, but there's 2 minutes and 18 seconds left, and for everybody that's watching, they saw St. Albert get back into this game awfully quick. So take a timeout, catch your breath, talk about what got you back in the game, talk about, hey, these plays happened, let's go back to what's working, and short-term memory, next play, next play, next play. So, and if you're Aden Bowman, you're probably saying the same thing. Like, just keep going back to what put you in this position to win the game.
And what's working is the hustle of the Skyhawks here as they've battled back. Down by 16 at one point. They were down by 16 at two different stages of the game, but they have fought back in this fourth quarter, have not given up. And I'll tell you, what has been working is the outside shooting of St. Albert as we go through these highlights. There's Brooke Fromont. And there's a big 3 from Brooke there from beyond the arc. And there's the hard work of the Bears, number 7, Haley Poyer. But don't go anywhere. It's a 6-point game. The Aden Bowman Bears of Saskatoon here in this women's championship game lead by 6. 2:18 to go in the game here from the Thunderbird Gym at Ross Shep. Poyer, number 7, to inbound for the Bears. She'll take a look. Looked like she wanted to go to the far side. There's number 11, Dillman. She's been on the floor a lot in this second half. D'Souza Martins has not had a rest all night. She has literally barely taken. There's about a 14-footer. Nice, beautiful shot by number 10, Ella Weeb. There's baseline there. Hessel, it won't fall. Rebound now by Eloise. She'll drive it up the floor, and she's content to just slow things down here with an 8-point lead now. Aden Bowman kicks it back over to Poyer. Here's Weeb at the top, right at the top of the key. She tries to drive. Big steal by the Skyhawks. Here's Segay. She'll drive the lane, and it just won't go. Rebound by Dillman. And the errant pass by the Bears. 1:22 to go. And if you're the Skyhawks, you need to score. You need to get on the board and get a steal.
You got to get something. It doesn't have to be a three. It doesn't have to be the always wanted 8-point shot right now. But I think
no kidding.
They just need to get something. And then, hey, dig in on defense.
It can happen.
Get another stop. Just chip away. You never know what can happen.
Anything can happen in high school basketball, and D'Souza Martins now content to grab that rebound. 8-point lead now for the Bears. That was a big play. Segay couldn't convert, and it was D'Souza Martins who's been the story of the game so far. And DeClerc breaks up that pass intended for Haley Poyer down the baseline, but the Bears will retain possession. 54 seconds to go.
You got to be in the passing lanes if you're St. Albert. You can't leave anything uncontested or let passes go through without somebody at least making it difficult on the catch. They have to push for these last 53 seconds.
Mira Witt with the shot, but it goes off the Skyhawk defender, and there's a beautiful little pass down low, but won't fall. And here's DeClerc, Cameron DeClerc, number 7. And here's Fromont, number 9, from three-point land, and it just won't go. And the Aden Bowman Bears look like they're on their way to the women's championship here at the Totem Hoop Classic. Aden Bowman from Saskatoon, and there's a big pass break up there by Brooke Fromont, and the possession arrow changes with 28 seconds to go. So as we talked about, first of all, congratulations to, obviously, to both teams. The Bears here with 28 seconds to go look pretty comfortable with an 8-point lead, but this has been a fantastic game, Stephen. As the camera takes a look, really, Ashley D'Souza Martins would have to be the MVP for Aden Bowman of Saskatoon.
I think so. Just she's had a hand on every basketball. Even buckets that haven't come from her have in some way, shape, or form been a result of her hustle. I think that part of it's been pretty easy as far as who that would be. But, there's been other players for Aden Bowman that have really hit some timely shots. Ella Weeb really had a nice second half in giving them a lift with handling the ball and getting to the rim. As I think we'll see right here when she gets to the rim with the left-hand finish. So, you know what? I think, you have to give the MVP to you-know-who. So, but
we talked about, and we've literally, talked about her all evening. Ashley D'Souza Martins, of course, the grade 12 forward/center, and she's of course committed to the University of Saskatchewan next year. And as you mentioned, she had many offers from NCAA Division I schools after her, but it's great that she'll be staying close to home and with the U of S. But here at the T-Bird Gym, here come the Bears hustling back out onto the floor because they know they are 28 seconds away from capturing the silver anniversary, the Totem Hoop Classic here, this women's championship game between the Aden Bowman Bears of Saskatoon and the St. Albert Skyhawks. 18 seconds to go, 3-second differential on the shot clock, but Aden Bowman on their way to the title and a pretty happy ride home back to Saskatoon. Oh, nice little shot there by number 7, Cameron DeClerc, the southpaw. 12 seconds to go here in the game, 53-47. The Bears lead it. Of course, immediately following this game, or just after this game, we'll have the championship game of the men's division between the Ross Shepherd Thunderbirds and Lillian Osborne. That's going to be a good one. And of course, as we've talked about all game long, this is an important preseason tournament for men's and women's basketball throughout the Capital Region, and for all of our teams really visiting. And let's take a look at the Aden Bowman bench here, where Marcy Helseth, the head coach, is on her way to capturing that title. And of course, big kudos to John Diedrich and his team, the St. Albert Skyhawks, for a great tournament. Obviously, this is their only loss of the tournament, but they've shown a great deal, and they have no reason to hang their heads leaving the gym tonight.
You could have quit in the fourth quarter
when you're down by 16.
Yeah,
absolutely.
You could have rationalized it. Hey guys, we've played well.
We've had a good tournament. Let's just close this thing out, no one get hurt, and start the bus. But not this Skyhawks team. I mean, like you say, down by 16 in the second half on two separate occasions, and they came back and got to within 2, just couldn't close it out.
Yeah, I mean, they made a lot of good plays, and they fought back into the game, got the gym a little more fired up. I think, both teams showed well, and I think St. Albert showed some grit and some determination to not quit on the game and to fight back into it.
And lots to build on for both teams, obviously, for Aden Bowman, and we want to wish them luck in their regular season and postseason going forward into 2018. But lots to build on if you're the Skyhawks, because teams showed a great deal of character, and they know that they can hang with one of the best teams in Saskatchewan. They can hang with anybody, really, in our province.
Yeah, I mean, I think St. Albert is traditionally a very strong program on the women's side, and it's easy to see why. They play hard, they play together, they have good coaching, and the girls have a solid skill level. I think you saw with de Klerk getting in there and finishing with her left hand after going right. These are girls that know how to play basketball. So you're probably going to see a little bit from St. Albert this year, just like I'm assuming you're going to see a lot of Aden Bowman if you're in Saskatchewan.
And here are the Skyhawks to close this one out. There's de Klerk with that left-handed spin, and that one, will it count? It does.
Count it. There we go.
And it will count. And your final score, the Aden Bowman Bears 53, the St. Albert Skyhawks 49, and the Aden Bowman Bears go on to capture the 2017 Totem Hoop Classic Women's Championship. And we want to congratulate Marcy Helseth and her coaching staff, Nicole Poyer and Megan Ekstrand, managers Kathleen Stoneham and Hannah Stewart, and all of the players and all of the visitors that we've had come in from out of town from Saskatoon. And we'll have the trophy presentation and some MVP awards handed out. But this was a fantastic game, Steve, and glad you were along with us for this one. This was just a really entertaining ball game. It looked like the Bears were going to, it was one of those cases where you thought that the Skyhawks were going to have to start the bus early, but nothing doing, and the Bears truly had to earn this title. And here we are with the trophy presentations, and we'll be talking with Marcy Helseth, the head coach of the Aden Bowman Bears. So it'll be great to have a chat with her and get her thoughts on the contest. And, of course, we'll have a quick chat and wrap things up. We'll send things downstairs.
Make this Totem Hoop go. And I have the privilege of introducing our principal, Mr. Rick Pollich, and one of our basketball coaches, and junior boys coach, Ben Philman, who are here to present the awards. But before we do that, I want to make sure that I have everybody thank our sponsors, Stadium Sportswear, Safeway, Fife and Deckel, McDonald's, Rock the Diploma, Exam Prep, Pivotal Physiotherapy, CDI College, Green Bean, Java Cafe Bistro, and Basketball Alberta and Jostens. As well as, I want to make sure we thank the crew that has been doing our broadcasts all weekend long that get streamed live out on the internet from ICU Video. So let's have a big round of applause for all our sponsors.
Of course, we want to extend our thanks to the sponsors. Of course, without them, events like this wouldn't happen.
Silver medals to the St. Albert Skyhawks. A great tournament, great effort all week long.
Skyhawks will receive their well-earned silver medals here in this. Take a go through the lineup here with the Skyhawks, who lost this one 53-49, but had an incredibly strong tournament. And lots to build on if you're John Diedrich going forward into the regular season. Of course, St. Albert with wins over Archbishop McDonald, Skona. They defeated the Lords in the semifinal and lost a tough one here, but you know what? There's a lot of smiles on the faces of the Skyhawks here too. And you know what? They've got a lot of good basketball going forward and a lot to be proud of.
Absolutely. I don't think there's anything you can be, I'm sure, disappointed, but there's nothing to be ashamed of in a final like this. You lost to a very good team, but you closed the gap in a game that would have been very easy to give up on. And I think if you're the coaches and if you're the players, the thing that stood out the most through that comeback was the grit with the team. They kept fighting, they kept pushing, they didn't have all the shots dropped that they wanted. But you know what? They kept on pushing, and I think Cameron DeClerc getting the All-Star nod is pretty deserving. She really played well, and I think for her being a young player to direct a team the way that she did against an Aden Bowman squad that made it tough is awfully impressive. So good on the St. Albert girls. They really had a good showing here.
And once again, of course, Cameron DeClerc, who literally ran miles tonight, you know, up and down the floor and was truly pushing the ball up the floor for the Skyhawks. It was a big part, you know, such a huge part of the offense for St. Albert. And here are the gold medal presentations for the Aden Bowman Bears. Haley Poyer, of course, the point guard and really the engine of the offense, if you will. D'Souza Martins does the finishing, but Poyer played such an important role in terms of settling things down and bringing the tempo up when it was needed. So,
yeah, they did a great job pushing the ball, being interchangeable at those spots. That's tough for a team to defend when you have multiple players that are able to get a rebound, get an outlet, push it up the floor, and then initiate an offense and be a threat to score. So really nice job on the Aden Bowman coaches' side of clearly having that be something that they work at, where they have players that are multifaceted and have a diverse skill set.
And the final gold medal presentations being made now to the coaches. Megan Halseth, the head coach of the Aden Bowman Bears. And like we say,
Special presentation tournament all-star goes to from Aden Bowman, number 7, Haley Poyer.
You know, and you can make an argument for both players, really. Yep. I mean, you could kind of, that all-star package you could saw in half, really.
Oh, yeah.
And the tournament MVP
I think,
get a custom-made ring from Jostens, one of our sponsors.
Sweet deal.
Not bad.
Is from Aden Bowman, number 15, Ashley D'Souza Martins.
Well, no shock here. The MVP of the tournament, Ashley D'Souza Martins, who in another year will be playing for the University of Saskatchewan. And
yes,
she can add this to an already loaded trophy case. She is, of course, invited to the U18 national team. And here we go with Sydney Dillman and Ashley D'Souza Martins with the championship trophy here, the 25th annual Totem Hoop Classic here at Ross Shep, this holiday tradition. And of course, both teams getting a great hand, and we want to offer our congratulations to the St. Albert Skyhawks for their silver medal, and of course to the champions of this tournament, the Aden Bowman Bears, and just a fantastic performance, this 53-49 victory. Marcy Halseth, the head coach of the Bears, will join us, and as will Ashley D'Souza Martins. They're going to be joining us from our camera location and take us through this game. I mean, we talked about it, Steve, where the Bears really mixed things up in that first half. They were able to really build a big lead, both with not only with outside shooting, but with feeding the ball down low. So they really attacked the Skyhawks from a lot of different angles.
Yeah, I mean, we spoke a lot about one specific player on Aden Bowman, but I don't think that should ever be interpreted that it wasn't a major team effort. They were impressive. I really liked how they moved the ball. If someone was open, that ball got there. Even if it meant someone passing up an okay shot, you're getting a good shot. So, yeah, awfully impressive.
And speaking of a great shot, there's a great shot of the St. Albert Skyhawks with their silver medals, and congratulations to John Diedrich and his squad, who, like I say, lots to build on, and what a fantastic group. So let's send things downstairs, and we've got a very happy Marcy Halseth, the head coach of the Aden Bowman Bears. And Marcy, you know, I'm up here with Steve Sir, and what a performance by your team tonight, especially the dynamic duo, I'll tell you, Poyer and D'Souza Martins. Tell us about their play tonight.
Oh yeah, they're excellent athletes. Both of them really tenacious and like to get after it on both ends of the court. Ashley's a 4-year senior player, and Haley is a 3-year senior player, and you can really see that experience kicking in.
Now, I guess going into this game, what did the game plan? I mean, you had a 16-point lead on 2 occasions, and the Skyhawks kind of got things back into it. What did you tell your team during that critical timeout in the fourth quarter?
You know, early on in the season, it's really all about maintaining composure and trying to limit momentum swings, and so that's what we've been working on this week. And unfortunately, we saw a few of those, and so moving forward, that's something that we're really going to try to focus on is kind of staying level and taking care of the ball and limiting the opponent's transition at times of need.
Now, in terms of, just final question going, how important is this for your team in terms of both building, bonding the team? You get a big win in a big tournament. Going forward, just how important was this weekend for Aden Bowman? Oh,
it was awesome. It was a lot of fun. It was a great tournament put on by Shep, and it's awesome to get on the road early and really start the team bonding. Having 3 good games, good hard physical games is great, and I'm looking forward to what our season has to offer.
And now let's send things over to the MVP of the tournament. We'll just do a quick change over here with Ashley D'Souza Martins. We'll get a wide shot as we get set for the men's final here. Ross Shepard and Lillian Osborne both warming up, and great to have you along with us, Ashley D'Souza Martins, the MVP of the tournament, and congratulations on winning this title. What a performance by your team. Take us through it a little bit.
I feel like we played really well, and our defense got really better throughout the tournament, and our offense improved a lot, so it was really good.
Now tell us about, you were up by 16. Most teams might, kind of put things on cruise control and hey, we can coast to this thing. How were you able to sort of, stay calm, stay cool, and because, St. Albert got to within 2 points, what were you thinking at that point?
Well, we had ups and downs, and they started getting a little closer, so we just needed to settle down the ball, but I feel like we did a really good job. So.
Now, in terms of Haley Poyer, who was also a tournament all-star, tell us, what kind of difference she made for the team tonight.
She cleaned up a lot of shots, and it was really awesome having her out there and her rebounds and bringing up the ball. So it was really nice.
So I guess, and final question, a bit of an early Christmas present, and I guess that long bus ride back home is going to seem a little bit shorter with that trophy being passed around and the gold medals. So congratulations, and just I guess give us your thoughts going forward. How important was this tournament for your team?
It was really good chance to improve, and I feel like we just have to improve a lot, and we'll do good. Yeah.
Sounds great. Well, congratulations on being named Most Valuable Player. Congratulations to your team. Have a great ride home and happy holidays, and thanks for joining us on this ICU Video Procast. And, of course, that brings our ICU Video Procast coverage of the Women's Championship game here at the 25th Annual Totem Hoop Classic Basketball Tournament from Ross Shepard High School in Edmonton. The Aden Bowman Bears of Saskatoon come away with a 53-49 victory over the St. Albert Skyhawks, and both teams now look towards the regular season after being crowned, well, certainly after being crowned the 2017 champions. On behalf of Steve Sir and our entire ICU Video Procast crew, including our executive producer, Rob Zitla, our director and switcher, Alex Testowich, and our dynamic crew of camera, Dave Foley, Matt Mosowich, and of course Liam Johnson. And of course, we'd like to thank everyone here at Ross Shepherd for all of their help in bringing you the action from the Totem Hoop Classic. We want to offer our congratulations to the Aden Bowman Bears, the 2017 women's champions. And please stay tuned for the men's championship game, which we'll have in just a few moments. I'm Kevin Donnan for ICU Video. Thank you for joining us. Have a very Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays, and good night from Ross Shepherd High School in Edmonton.